Austin landscape is changing. Jeremy Knight with the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. You know, if we look into 2023 about all of the developments that are coming into the Austin area, there's a lot of things coming and the landscape is absolutely changing. You know, one thing that comes to mind as I look at little areas like Rainey. You know, Rainey used to be this nice little street with like bungalows and all this cute little bars and restaurants. And now it's just this behemoth of tall high rises. In fact, right now there's a $10 million lot available on the MLS, and it's just a little lot. So let's look forward at what will be changing in the Austin area in this video. Drop a comment below. Are you enjoying the changes in and around the Austin area? Are you not? Are you ready to go? Drop a comment below. Or if you look at moving to Austin, are you really excited about something like this in a video like this? Also, if you're looking for any other videos or ideas, or you have something you want me to talk about, drop a comment below. We'll talk about it on the channel. So let's take a look at what is changing in the Austin area and what's coming to the Austin area in 2023. You know, a lot of people complain about moving to suburbs outside of Austin. In a video I talked about last week, I talked about how many people actually moved to Texas in 2022, and it was more than any other state. And one complaint that I got throughout the video when we talked about the suburbs is that people moving to the suburbs are just further and further away from Austin. Now, if we look at some of the developments that are coming in and around the Austin area, I think Austin is trying to catch up to that because we're going to talk about some developments that are not just close to downtown, but they're going to fulfill some of that development further out. Oh, and stay tuned because I'm going to talk about some really interesting stuff. In fact, the neighborhood that's going to be on the west side of Austin, that's going to be a pretty interesting neighborhood. So stay tuned for that. So one thing that's on the docket for Austin that is absolutely going to change the landscape of Austin if this goes through is change how we look at commercial land and homes on commercial land. So this could mean that we're actually going to put more apartments and things on commercial land closer to freeways. So let's take a look at this. So one big issue in this is there is a barrier for how close housing can be to a major freeway. Well, in this zoning law that they're looking at, they're actually looking to develop closer to freeways, so in that 500-foot setback. And on top of that, they're going to allow more housing in commercial areas. So they're looking at this bringing in about 46,000 more homes into the Austin area. Now, affordability is one of those things that people are worried about in the Austin area. And look, I get it. You know, if you're trying to move from the Bay Area or you're trying to move from California or even New York, you get here and realize, man, it is not as cheap as I thought it was. Or if you're coming to take a tech job in and around the Austin area, you realize quickly that, man, it is just not as cheap as you think. So this would actually give more residences closer to downtown and kind of those infill areas. And partly why they're saying this is that a study came out saying by 2035, we're going to need another 100,000 apartments in and around the Austin area. So they're really trying to change these rules. Now, one thing you're going to tell me is, Jeremy, there's not enough infrastructure. And so this is something that I want to talk about as well. I agree. I-35, getting around Austin, there's just not enough infrastructure. Now, we do have Prop A and Prop B that are coming out, which is the light rail, but that's still years and years and out in the future. And the problem with Austin right now when it comes to building freeways and everything is it is just so hard. I live in Dripping Springs, and just getting people out to Dripping Springs through the Y right now is an absolute nightmare, and they've tried to redo that thing 2 or 3 times. What's interesting is now Austin pursues federal help with transportation funding. So some things that they're trying to take care of in this is actually grow I-35. Now that has been such a controversial hot button just because of what they'll have to do. They may have to displace some people to widen and make I-35 bigger. Now they did put 130 around, you know, the outside of Austin, but that really hasn't helped with the traffic through Austin. And in this article, it says that Austin is poised to enter a new era of mobility and connectivity in the next 20 years. I am pleased to see our partnership with the U.S. Department of Transportation grow as we explore new possibilities of what we can achieve together. So look, while I give the city of Austin a hard time, especially when it comes to all the taxes they keep trying to raise on everybody, Austin is growing and needs to grow. So this is something that they're going to have to take care of. So hopefully we get some more funding for things like this, Project Connect, Prop A, Prop B, all that stuff. So the taxpayers locally aren't footing the bill. What are your thoughts on that? Now, some other things to look at as far as the landscape of Austin changing. Apple is actually looking to expand its campus again. So far, they're being very tight-lipped on what they're doing, but eventually their area is going to encompass 3 million square feet. So this may bring more jobs in the future to the Austin area. And there are a lot of other developments like this that are going on in the Austin area with these major companies bringing more jobs. And look at this, Samsung secured more Manor ISD tax incentives so they can expand their Northeast campus. So this means that we may have more chips being made in, not the ones you eat, but computer chips made here in the Austin area, which is gonna give us a big boom as far as being a chip making destination in Texas and in the United States. Let's talk about some more major developments. If you look at Hutto, which is just outside of Austin, they're being tight-lipped, but they also passed some things over the holidays. Hutto highlights a slew of new major economic development projects potentially headed to the city. So we've talked about this little area in Hutto. They call it like the mega site, right? So they floated all these different things. So they have Project ESLO, which is going to bring 10 to 15 million in development and 100 full-time jobs. They have Project Strat 3, which is going to be on the mega site. This could bring another 100 jobs and 200,000 square foot warehouse. You have Project Chicago, which is going to bring another 30 acres of entertainment space to Hutto. And then you have Project NQ2, which is going to bring another 40 million in taxable sales and 300 full-time, part-time jobs. So this is great because it's going to bring more retail and more things for the people of Hutto. Now, my last video, I talked about how Hutto is going to be one of those areas that sees a ton of growth next year and moving forward. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, but we're still seeing a lot of growth. I mean, what you're gonna see is continue to see like these big, massive data centers. You're gonna see more chip making. So the landscape of Austin, while it's been this beautiful landscape, is absolutely changing, and it's gonna be a lot of four-sided, big, ugly buildings, unfortunately, but that is gonna bring a lot of jobs and economic prosperity to the Austin area. Now let's look at this. Colorado Bend, so out by the airport, they're looking at building another mega complex out really off of 130 and 71. And this will be a one-story, 453,000 square foot cold dark shelling building. So there's really not a ton of information about this yet, but this is gonna be right off the airport. So this is sitting on 35 acres right now, and it's gonna be an industrial warehouse. So like I said, we're just gonna see more big boxes. And this little area is nice because it's nice and green. If you drive through there, it's nice and green and beautiful, and it's changing. All of Del Valley is changing. I could do, if you want me to do a whole video on all the development in Del Valley, let me know. I'd love to talk about that because there's one other thing that's going to happen over in Del Valley. Since it's growing so much, we are going to see this new complex coming in. This is going to be a pretty amazing complex because it is right next to the airport. But look, if you're looking at moving to Tesla or one of those areas right next to it, Hornsby Bend, there's not a lot of development out there and things to do. That's been like the one kind of negative if you're looking out in that area. Del Valley doesn't necessarily have a lot going on either unless you go to Bastrop, and it's such a prime location with so many developments coming in there, so many people looking to move in there. There's a lot of, like, so literally, if you want me to make a video on that, let me know, but there's a lot of developments. But look at this. They're going to do a 270 acre plot right next to the airport. This is going to be 7 million square feet of apartments, offices, and other commercial space, about 310 square feet planned to dedicate to retail, restaurants, and entertainment. This project's going to be a pretty big project, and it's going to bring more people down to the Del Valley area, especially since Tesla's right there. There are a lot of people, if you're looking at like Colorado Crossing, which is right next to the airport, they don't have anything out around there. Or look at, one neighborhood that I always complain about, Easton Park, has nothing near it. You're gonna have this close to it, so this could be a huge draw. And there's a lot of complexes like this going in and around the area of Austin. So what do you think so far about Austin and the development that's happening in Austin? There's so many different things, but what are your thoughts? Are you happy about these big buildings and the tech companies moving here and all the prices of everything going up? And the taxes, what do you think? So drop a comment. I want to talk about a development that I think is going to be a really cool development in the west side of Austin near Spicewood. Now check this out. This is going to be Thomas Ranch. Now Thomas Ranch is going to have 250,000 square feet of retail space. And they're looking to try to bring in like an H-E-B, Whole Foods, some grocers like that. They're already talking about developing 3,500 homes on more than 1,000 acres in this area. So that's going to be a huge development. This is something I'm going to keep my eye on because if they can secure H-E-B, if they can secure more things out there, that'd be pretty amazing. Because if you're going west right now, all you have is really the Galleria out there. And so this development would really help. And there's really not a ton of stuff to do out kind of like in the Lakeway area. So this would probably bring a lot of people out towards West Austin. What do you think about that? Jeremy Knight, the Night Group. If you want more videos like this, drop a comment below. See you in the next one.